team, it's your boy Neal back with another reaction video, guys. Here we are with the truth about what makes Larry Bird great. Before we dive into this, y'all know I need y'all to smash that subscribe button, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. You guys got a favorite video suggestion, you can subscribe to Patreon or drop it in the comment section. What we got, Larry? Two generational players. Gotti, bang.
Larry Joe Bird, recognized by many as one of the top 10 greatest players of NBA history, but many fail to realize just how strong his GOAT argument actually is. Larry, alongside of Magic Johnson, saved the NBA and helped bring the league to new levels of popularity throughout the 1980s. Throughout Bird's illustrious career, he won 3 NBA championships, received 12 All-Star selections, made 10 All-NBA teams, won 3 MVP awards, and won 2 Finals MVP awards. Larry was also one of the most clutch players in NBA history. He had numerous game-winning shots in both regular season and the playoffs, and he was known for making the big play when his team needed it most, whether on offense or defense.
That's crazy.
As many of you already know, Bird was an all-time great three-point shooter and just a great shooter in general. He shot 37.6% from three-point range during his career, and he won the three-point shooting contest 3 consecutive years, with Craig Hodges being the only other player to win the contest that many times. Bird was a great all-around scorer and shooter when it came to efficiency, but in his prime, he was unmatched. He was the first player in NBA history to make the illustrious 50-40-90 club. To make the 50-40-90 club, a player must shoot an average of 50% from the field, 40% from three-point range, and 90% from the free throw line over an entire NBA season. In all of NBA history, only 8 players have averaged 50, 40, and 90 over a season, and of those 8 players, only Larry Bird and Steve Nash have done it multiple times. What makes Bird stand alone from Nash, though, was the fact that—
I don't know why I thought Steph did it multiple times. Maybe after this video he had. Maybe he hasn't. Shoot. That's crazy. Yeah, Larry's Larry's legendary. You hear everything he's talking about. Larry's that guy. Don't put no disrespect on the name of Larry Legend.
Have done it multiple times. What makes Bird stand alone from Nash, though, was the fact that Bird was a scorer and a high-volume shooter. Bird shot an average of nearly twice as many shots and free throws as Steve Nash per game. Bird was a volume shooter who had multiple 50-40-90 seasons, so from that perspective, you could argue that Bird was the most overall efficient scorer in NBA history. Bird was far more than just a scorer and a shooter, though. He was one of the greatest, if not the greatest, all-around player in NBA history. Over his career—
That's going to have to be LeBron, bud. I'm sorry, Johnny. That's going to have to be LeBron, bud.
If not the greatest, all-around player in NBA history. Over his career, Bird efficiently averaged 24.3 points per game, 10 rebounds per game, and 6.3 assists per game.
Very nice.
Larry was arguably the greatest passing forward of all time. His court vision, high basketball IQ, and team play was off the charts. This aspect of his game is sometimes overlooked because of the reality that he played in the same era as Magic Johnson, the face of Showtime and arguably the greatest passer of all time. Bird wasn't quite on Magic's level in terms of vision and passing, but as far as 6'9" small forwards go, Larry was as close to Magic's passing skills as it gets. Along with his overlooked passing is his rebounding. People forget he was a 6'9" player who knew how to use his body. As I mentioned earlier, Larry averaged a whopping 10 rebounds per game over the course of his career.
That's crazy.
He wasn't just a solid rebounder, he was one of the all-time greats at it. Bird has the 49th highest career rebounds per game average in NBA history. Most of the players on that list are either power forwards or centers, though, which Larry was not. He played primarily as a small forward. Among primary small forwards, Larry has the 3rd greatest rebound per game average in NBA history. These are one of those stats that testify to the hustle and heart that he played with each and every night of his career. He was also an underrated defender. Larry played with heart and effort on both sides of the basketball every game. He wasn't the greatest shot blocker, but he did average more blocks per game over his career than LeBron James has. Larry also averaged a high 1.7 steals per game over his career. He was tenacious, he was scrappy, and he was a quality on-ball defender. He also made 3 all-defense teams in his...
I think he played very great help as well. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he read plays before they happened. Very high IQ, very high knowledge of the game, very high understanding. I agree with that.
And he was a quality on-ball defender. He also made 3 all-defense teams in his career. I'm not trying to make it seem like he was Kawhi Leonard on defense, but Larry was a good defender who often doesn't get the recognition he deserves in that area. Larry was a legend and a leader who impacted the game in just about every way you can, and as a result, his team won 3 championships and made a trip to the finals 5 times. An aspect that I don't often hear mentioned in the GOAT discussion was the fact that Magic was a rival to Bird, and Bird was a rival to Magic. In a way, you could say that these 2 legends took away from each other's success. Michael Jordan, for example, had no equal throughout the 90s, so in a way, it's easier for us to call him the GOAT since he so clearly stood out from everyone else. If you take either Magic or Bird out of the equation, though, the remaining player stands out that much more. Magic would have won more championships if Larry wasn't around, and Larry would have won more championships if Magic wasn't around. Although you could argue that their impacts and legacies were greater since they were rivals to each other, we can also acknowledge that their GOAT pursuits were hindered by the fact that they were constantly in each other's way. Bird,
I don't know if they're as great as they are without each other to push the other. Cause you know what I'm saying? I heard a lot of Magic and you heard a lot of Larry. Like, what did Magic score tonight? What were Magic stats tonight? And then Larry go out there and Magic paying attention what Larry do tonight, and Magic go out there and try to beat it. So I feel like that rivalry, although may have hindered them in the GOAT conversation because there were 2 of them, I guess, kind of taking away from each other. It also helped them because there was 2 of them pushing each other, and iron sharpens iron.
Their GOAT pursuits were hindered by the fact that they were constantly in each other's way. Bird had many obstacles and challenges, but he didn't let that stop him from putting together an impressive, all-around GOAT-worthy career. But with all of that being said, there is one aspect of Bird's career that is more legendary, more jaw-dropping, and more GOAT-worthy than any other aspect of his remarkable career. In the year 1985, Bird was at home with his mother and was wanting to help her build her new driveway. While Bird was out there shoveling gravel for his mom, something happened that would change the rest of his career. Bird brutally injured his back, which would then be an ongoing battle with pain and spasms for the rest of his career. This injury speaks to Larry's pride, hard work, and independence. What's crazy is that I'm pretty sure any Bostonian in that day would have volunteered to shovel that gravel for Larry. Regardless, the damage was done. And ultimately, these back issues would play a part in Bird leaving the game earlier than many other athletes. With that being said, this injury begun and took place in 1985. Bird still played 7 seasons after that injury. Listen to Larry's primary doctor describe what Larry was dealing with through those final 7 seasons of his career.
He could manage the pain in a way that very few people can do. There'd be days he could come in the office and he couldn't stand up straight. It was a situation that he was seeing almost daily. He had lost the structural stability in his spine, so it would slip into abnormal positions to try and lock itself to get an artificial stability. That's like getting your finger stuck in a door and somebody's still pushing on the door. So what we had to do was unlock his spine, realign it, do techniques that would hold that for 4 hours, 6 hours, that type of thing, and then he'd go play basketball.
Bro, that's crazy.
His pain in his quest for basketball became all-encompassing. Very few people really knew what Larry was living with.
So let me get this.
That's it. To play through that is absolutely insane, bro. Absolutely one of the toughest guys to ever pick up a basketball.
People really knew what Larry was living with.
So let me get this straight. When Larry had won his championship and finals MVP in 1986, this is what he was going through? In 87 and 88, when Larry had back-to-back 50, 40, 90 seasons while averaging nearly 30 points per game, this was the back issues he pushed through? When Larry won the League MVP award in 1986, which was his 3rd MVP in a row, which he is the only player to ever accomplish since the NBA's merger, this is what he overcame to get it done? That is beyond legendary. It's utterly ridiculous. You do realize that Larry only played 5 healthy seasons in his career before he received what many people would consider a career-ending injury, and then spent more than half of his career dealing with the pain and structural damage, and yet he still managed to put together a GOAT-worthy resume. No other NBA legend has anything close to that kind of claim. Say what you want about Larry Bird, but the reality is, he's likely the toughest and baddest dude the NBA has ever seen. This is why Larry Legend is the greatest player of all time.
I can't give him that, but he's definitely one of the best that the game has ever seen. And if you want to say toughest, I'll say he can be the toughest. I could consider him the toughest that the game has ever seen. I mean, he's absolutely legendary. That's why he is who he is. That's all we got. You guys got a favorite video suggestion, you can subscribe to Patreon or drop it in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. Social media, Patreon, all up top. You can subscribe to any of it. Put all the links in the description. All you got to do is hit the link, follow me, talk to me. Love talking to you guys. You guys are the most incredible team on YouTube. It's your boy D Neal. Out.